Team, welcome back for another episode. My name is Command Sergeant Major Retired Mark Garrett, and today is part one in a series of military leadership and social media. I am sure many of you may not be happy with the things I'm about to share. Please send me your professional comments. I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say. Enlighten me, challenge me. Maybe I can rise to the occasion. Before we can talk about social media, we need to discuss some terms and the application of those terms in the real world. These are my definitions, and yours may vary, but we should be somewhat in agreement as my definitions are broad in nature. Formal leadership or formal leaders are those that derive their authority by rank and position. Informal leaders are those that derive their influence by knowledge, experience, personality, or the ability to relate to others, or their ability to motivate others to achieve a certain state or any combination of these. In addition, an informal leader can also be a formal leader, meaning that you could have someone like a sergeant or a lieutenant who has formal leadership, power, and authority, but they're also an informal leader within their group. Now, influence is the ability of an individual to motivate others to achieve an objective regardless of their position, authority, or rank. Earlier, I said an informal leader can also be a formal leader. You might have a sergeant or a lieutenant that is a formal leader by definition, but also has significant influence on how decisions are made, how that decision is implemented, the impact of that decision on morale, esprit de corps of the squad, platoon, or unit. Formal and informal leaders can be good or bad depending on how they choose to use or apply their influence. Some individuals have no idea they're informal leaders. Those around them are naturally drawn to them. They're motivated to act or listen by the actions of informal leaders. Now, formal leaders need to be able to identify informal leaders within their world of influence. Why? Because these individuals can be a distraction or an incredible force multiplier. Once identified, the formal leader needs to develop a relationship with the informal leader. As a formal leader, you can make demands on the informal leader to comply or follow your directives that they are legally bound to obey. But usually this approach falters and only leads to more confrontations, animosity, impacts the team in a negative way. In my opinion, the way to go is to sit down with the informal leader and have an open and frank conversation. If the individual is a team player, usually this is an easy conversation. Talk to them, let them know you recognize their natural ability to motivate team members and solve problems. Then ask them to help you in focusing the team and use their abilities to grow the team. Give them additional responsibilities. Get them and keep them actively involved. Develop these soldiers and consider involving them in your decision-making process and or meetings where it's appropriate to do so. The conversation with informal leaders that are a distraction and or causing problems within the organization will be a more difficult conversation. First, I would start the conversation the same way you did with the positive informal leader by asking for their help and assistance. Informal leaders that are a distraction may not even realize they're a distraction. As a formal leader, your job is to develop and grow soldiers under your charge. Find out what makes this informal leader tick. One of the best ways to get an informal leader on board is to give them specific responsibilities and hold them accountable. This should be a positive interaction. If the informal leader does not wish to accept the responsibility, you simply say something like, as leaders, informal or formal, we have a duty and obligation to build and grow the team. Therefore, I expect you to execute these duties to the best of your ability. Sometimes formal leaders may not like informal leaders or the informal leader's actions, and the formal leader may want to punish an informal leader, even though they're not really doing anything wrong. As a formal leader, do not fall into that trap. Do not become vindictive. Hold the formal leader to a reasonable standard. Develop and grow the informal leader. Do not be vindictive. If you punish a soldier or an informal leader or influencer because you're not happy with them, that's just being vindictive. And there are unintended consequences to your decision, and it could blow up on social media, the one thing that you're trying to prevent. Keep in mind, leaders do what's right when no one is looking. Be the professional and find a way to bring the informal leader on board. If you are a vindictive leader, you have no business in a leadership position. What do you do with an informal leader that will not comply, fails to respond to a positive motivation, and or continues their distracted behavior? Well, at this point, you may have to resort to applying the formal tools at your disposal. For example, formal counseling, corrective training, letters of admonishment or reprimand, and in extreme cases, recommendation of an Article 15. Notice we start at the lowest appropriate level. We don't just jump to UCMJ. Starting with UCMJ is the easy way out, and the unintended consequences of your decisions to implement UCMJ or by jumping to UCMJ may backfire on you. If you're getting value out of this video, please like and share and comment. It helps raise the post and motivates me when I hear from you. Also, please stop by mentormilitary.com. They have everything you can imagine that will assist you with your military career. They can help you develop yourself and others. They cover subjects like leadership, promotions, counseling, evaluations, awards, tactics, techniques, and procedures. Use the code YT10 at checkout and get a 10% discount. Now, before you use your informal tools, you might want to consider the following. Why is this informal leader being distractive? Are they really being a distraction, or are you somehow potentially offended, upset, and or jealous that this individual has so much influence? Really, as a formal leader, you need to conduct a self-assessment and see if you are part of the problem. If some of the responsibility falls in your lap, you have a duty and responsibility to alter your behavior while simultaneously motivating the informal leader to help you grow the team, or you can simply rely on your formal authority to achieve your goals. At best, you will get forced compliance with no initiative. The bottom line is it's your decision to choose the path you wish to take, but choose wisely. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay safe and stay healthy.